Remember when breakfast wasn't just a rushed affair, but a whole experience? The 1970s gave us some wild and wonderful morning meals. From cream of wheat to popcorn cereal, we're about to revisit 10 forgotten breakfast gems that'll transport you right back to your childhood kitchen. Ready for a tasty trip down memory lane? Number 1, cream of wheat. Let's kick off our list with a breakfast that was smoother than disco. Remember that silky, warm embrace in a bowl that used to grace every kitchen table? It's time to uncover why this simple staple became a cultural phenomenon and why it might be due for a comeback. Cream of wheat, the beloved breakfast porridge, first made its debut at the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago. This smooth operator quickly won hearts across America, becoming a breakfast powerhouse by the mid-20th century. What made it so special? It was all about that velvety texture and comforting warmth that just couldn't be beat. Picture this, a steaming bowl of cream of wheat on a chilly morning, topped with a pat of butter and a sprinkle of brown sugar. For many, it was the ultimate comfort food to start the day. But as times changed, so did our breakfast habits. The rise of cold cereals and grab-and-go options meant cream of wheat began to lose its place at the table. Number 2, Carnation Instant Breakfast. While cream of wheat warmed our hearts, another breakfast sensation was shaking things up, literally. Remember when all it took was a scoop, a shake, and suddenly you had a full breakfast in your hand? Enter Carnation Instant Breakfast, the revolutionary powder that hit the scene in 1964 and changed the way families approached mornings. Picture this, it's 1970, you're running late for school and mom hands you a glass of chocolate-flavored goodness. With the tagline, "Mix milk, a meal," Carnation Instant Breakfast was the superhero of busy mornings. Available in flavors like chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, it was a hit with kids and a lifesaver for parents. But this wasn't just about convenience. It was nutritious too. Packed with vitamins and minerals, it transformed an ordinary glass of milk into a complete meal. No wonder moms across America were earning the title of Mother of the Year. As times changed, so did Carnation Instant Breakfast. It introduced variants like Light Start with reduced sugar, adapting to new health trends while keeping its nostalgic charm. Today, it's seen as the grandparent of modern meal replacement shakes, proving that sometimes the oldies really are the goodies. Number 3, Wheatena. Speaking of oldies, there's one breakfast staple that takes us even further back in time. What if we told you there was a cereal so beloved, it sparked a cultural phenomenon that lasted for generations? Get ready to uncover the forgotten wheat wonder that once ruled American mornings. Enter Wheatena, the toasted wheat cereal that first graced breakfast tables in 1879. This hearty grain dish wasn't just another hot cereal, it was a breakfast revolution. Imagine the aroma of wheat berries roasting for up to 10 hours daily, filling the air with a nutty fragrance that became synonymous with mornings in America. By the 1920s, Wheatena wasn't just a meal, it was a cultural icon. It even inspired its own 1930s radio serial, aptly named Wheatena, which painted a picture of the ideal American family and community. Talk about a breakfast with star power. But what made Wheatena stand out in a sea of breakfast options? Unlike many of its competitors, Wheatena put nutrition front and center. In an era when sugary cereals were starting to dominate, Wheatena stood firm in its commitment to health and wholesome goodness. Number 4, Mapo. As the breakfast landscape shifted, one unique flavor was about to take center stage. Can you imagine a time when "I want my Mapo" echoed through kitchens across America? This maple-infused mystery had both kids and parents falling in love with breakfast all over again. Enter Mapo, the instant oatmeal that combined convenience with the rich, indulgent flavor of maple syrup. Introduced in 1953 by the Maltex Corporation, Mapo quickly became a breakfast sensation. What made it so special? It wasn't just oatmeal, it was a low-fat, cholesterol-free treat that satisfied even the sweetest tooth. The secret to Mapo's irresistible taste: baked maple chips that gave each spoonful a burst of authentic maple flavor. It's no wonder kids couldn't get enough of it. And let's not forget the catchy marketing campaign featuring Mary Mapo, the animated character who made "I Want My Mapo" a breakfast time anthem. But Mapo wasn't just about taste. It was part of a larger trend in the 1970s towards convenient, indulgent breakfast options. As lifestyles changed and mornings became busier, Mapo offered a quick, delicious solution that still felt like a treat. Number 5, Johnny Cakes. While Mapo brought maple to the masses, another breakfast option was simmering beneath the surface. Can you guess which Native American-inspired dish was about to stage a delicious revolt against modern convenience foods? Enter Johnny Cakes, a cornmeal flatbread with roots deeper than America itself. Johnny Cakes aren't just any old breakfast food. These golden discs have been fueling generations since colonial times, blending Native American culinary traditions with early American resourcefulness. Think of them as the distant cousin of pancakes, with a texture that's crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. What makes Johnny Cakes so special? It's all in the simplicity. The basic recipe calls for just cornmeal, boiling water, and salt. But don't let that fool you. These humble ingredients come together to create a breakfast that's both comforting and delicious. Depending on where you're from, you might find variations that include pumpkin or other regional twists. Want to try your hand at making Johnny Cakes? It's easier than you might think. Simply mix cornmeal with boiling water and salt, then fry until golden brown. Serve them up with butter and syrup, and you've got yourself a taste of history. Number 6, Spam. From cornmeal to canned meat? Believe it or not, the 1970s saw an unexpected breakfast hero rise from the pantry shelves. What wartime staple found its way onto millions of American breakfast plates, and why are some people still singing its praises today? Enter Spam, the canned meat product that became a breakfast sensation during World War II. Spam's journey to the breakfast table is a tale of necessity turned tradition. This mix of pork and ham meat seasoned with salt and preservatives became a convenient and affordable alternative to rationed meat during the war, but its popularity didn't stop there. By the 1970s, Spam had become a common sight at breakfast tables across America. So, how did people enjoy their morning Spam? Picture this: crispy slices of fried Spam served alongside eggs and rice. It was quick, easy, and surprisingly delicious. This simple combination became a go-to meal for busy families looking for a hearty start to their day. But Spam's breakfast stardom didn't end in the 70s. In Hawaii, it's still a beloved part of the local cuisine. From Spam musubi to breakfast fried rice, this canned meat has found its way into countless island dishes. It's more than just food, it's a cultural icon. Number 7, popcorn cereal. While Spam found its place in breakfast history, another unlikely food item briefly popped onto the scene. Ever wonder what breakfast cereal and movie snacks have in common? In the 1970s, one peculiar breakfast trend had Americans reaching for the popcorn maker before their morning coffee. Believe it or not, popcorn cereal was a thing. This sweetened breakfast option, which first appeared in the late 1800s, saw a revival in the 1970s. Imagine waking up to a bowl of puffed popcorn doused in milk with a sprinkle of sugar on top. It was a texture adventure. Crunchy at first, then softening as it soaked up the milk. But why didn't this cinematic breakfast stick around? Despite its initial popularity, popcorn cereal struggled to find its place in the long run. Health concerns started popping up as parents became more aware of nutritional values. The limited flavor options, mostly sweet and salty, didn't help either. Some folks even found the texture a bit challenging to eat first thing in the morning. Number 8, hoe cakes. From popcorn to cornmeal, the 70s sure loved their corn-based breakfasts, but there's one flat, crispy treat that's been around since colonial times. It's so simple, you might have the ingredients in your pantry right now, ready to discover this forgotten breakfast gem. Enter hoe cakes, the humble hero of American breakfast tables. These flat cornmeal cakes have deep roots in our culinary history, tracing back to Native American traditions. Ever wonder how they got their name? It's not what you might think. These tasty treats were often cooked on the flat part of a hoe over an open fire, showcasing the resourcefulness of early American cooks. Hoe cakes have a texture similar to modern pancakes or flatbreads, with a hearty, slightly chewy consistency that pairs well with both sweet and savory toppings. They were a staple for many poor and middle-class Americans, especially associated with the diets of enslaved individuals. Want to try making hoe cakes yourself? It's easier than you think. Just mix cornmeal with water and salt, then cook on a griddle until golden brown. Serve them up with butter and syrup for a sweet treat, or pair them with fried eggs for a savory start to your day. Number 9, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. While hoe cakes offer a taste of history, another breakfast creation from the 70s continues to dominate cereal aisles today. Ever wonder which sugary sensation has managed to captivate taste buds for over 4 decades? The answer might just make you crave a bowl right now. Enter Cinnamon Toast Crunch, the beloved cereal that hit the scene in the late 1970s. This sweet and crunchy treat quickly became a breakfast sensation, appealing to both kids and adults with its unique flavor and satisfying texture. But did you know this cereal's origin story is just as delightful as its taste? Cinnamon Toast Crunch was the brainchild of scientist John Menes and General Mills assistant product manager Elizabeth Track. Surprisingly, the idea came from a child's suggestion in a radio contest. Talk about thinking outside the cereal box. Originally, the cereal featured plain squares, but it soon evolved to include the iconic cinnamon-colored swirl we know and love today. And who could forget the 3 animated Baker mascots? Wendell, the most recognizable of the bunch, became the sole mascot by 1991. Number 10, Milk Toast. While cereals like Cinnamon Toast Crunch brought excitement to the breakfast table, another dish from the era took a different approach. Ever wonder what people ate when they needed a dose of comfort with their morning meal? The answer might surprise you, and it's far simpler than you'd expect. Enter Milk Toast, a humble yet heartwarming breakfast that was once a staple in many American homes. This comforting classic dates back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Toasted bread covered in warm milk, often enhanced with a pat of butter, a sprinkle of sugar, and a dash of cinnamon or nutmeg. Milk toast was the ultimate comfort food. But milk toast wasn't just a tasty treat, it was considered a cure-all for everything from upset stomachs to broken hearts. Food writer MFK Fisher even described it as a warm, mild, soothing thing full of innocent strength. It was especially popular among children and those recovering from illness, thanks to its gentle, easy-to-digest nature. Want to try this forgotten comfort food yourself? It's surprisingly easy to make. Just toast some bread, warm up some milk, and pour it over. Add your favorite toppings, and voila, you've got yourself a taste of nostalgia.